What is good, boys and girls, and welcome back to another episode of Quackers TV with me, your host with the most, your local friendly neighbourhood quack dealer himself, QTV, emphasis on the QT, because I am one, as you can see. We got a game against Everton. Not just that, it says we have to get a draw, and you know if it says get at least a draw, it means when we enter this game, we are going to be getting turned around and bummed more than a bell of danger on a usual work day. 23 minutes in, Andy Johnson, the man, now more famous for doing a dive where he literally nearly broke his neck than all of the banging goals he scored for Crystal Palace. But we have a will, we still believe. I said last time out the title of the video was Arsenal might not win the treble. You know what the title of this one's going to be? It's going to be Arsenal going to win the World Cup. You know why? Because we are going to batter all that come before us. 43 minutes on the clock. For some reason you can't see it here, Kolo Touré's been sent off. I'm not sure what he did, I'm not sure what he said, but to be honest, he ain't missed because I should have just stuck with Boyo. I should have just stuck. This is why you signed Ronaldo. This is why you do it. The big fat blob. You know what he's got around him? He's got a gravitational pull. Because yeah, he's a bit chubbo. He's a bit of a chubby one. He isn't an Adonis like me. He ain't an Adonis like you boys and girls. He's a bit chubby, but he's got that gravitational ball, and that ball's just gonna be floating like a beautiful little piece of loose rock in space, straight to him every time. Kaká to Ronaldo. What did I say? Gravitational pull, boys and girls. It's a thing. Defender think he's got an easy clearance. Well, guess what? The gravity, it kicks in. Ball just pulls on over like a girl on a night out to any boy with a shitty fade. And you know what else? That ball goes in a hole which has got a lot in common with a night out as well for me. I don't know how to have sex. Everton 2, Arsenal 2, but we don't stop here. They said avoid defeat. We ain't beta males. We are the chaddiest chads that ever lived. You know why? Because only a chad would call themselves a chad. Fact. Alpha male mentality. Quack mentality. We are on quack. You are going to be feeling like you are after all this shit I talk. And we found something out about FIFA. Spinning in circles on old FIFAs, apparently that's the way to go. You just run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until there's the gap, until there's the bit of space, until Ronaldo Nazario completes his hattie. What a man, what a man, what a mighty fine Brazilian man. Say it again now. What a man, what a man, what a mighty fine man. Arsenal 3. Everton 2. I told you, boys! I told you! We're gonna win the World Cup. We are the Chicago Fire of North London. 90 minutes on the clock. Mikel Arteta playing for Everton, so it shouldn't really be a shock they've bottled one. Because as an Arsenal fan, I know that man doesn't have a clue. Up next, Man United, and many of you see this win match, possession of 55. First of all, can you imagine if you were playing Man United and your chairman came up to you? Yeah, I want you to win, but I know it's Man United's going to be a really tough game, but you need to win possession. A lot of you are going to notice something though, and I'm just going to highlight to you. This game's a little bit easier than it should have been. Man United, for some reason, only have 10 men. I said before, Kolo Touré was for some reason sent off, and so was Gabriel Heinze. I'm not sure what he did. Maybe he dehydrated the ref, like he threatened to do. No, he didn't threaten. He literally did with the players he managed. Look up, Gabriel Heinze is a legitimate prick. Fuck him. First time I've actually sworn in this video. Pat on the back for me. But a lot of you youngins won't have heard of these things. But there's this thing called a glitch. And I know, shocking. But this is more shocking. In old-timey games back where I'm from, there wasn't constant patches. So if there was a glitch, it couldn't really be patched. So you know what happened? This is going to shock you even more. EA cared about their game. I know. EA took care of their games. They actually put effort into their games. because they had to. I know, mind blown. I get it. I know it's literally unreal. Just like Arsenal beating Man United 5-0. Literally never happened in my lifetime. I think most have won by like 3-0, which is pretty depressing when they've beaten us 8-2 before. Yeah. Fun. That's my dog being obnoxious. Oh, for God's sake. Jump match up next. Aston Villa. Can't I just be happy for a little bit? Just a tiny bit. Ajax up next, and we've got to use a 5.
What's up, guys? Nepenthes here.
That would explain why we have to use a 5-back. I didn't know Nepenthes was the Arsenal chairman. Great. As you can see though, Cesc Fabregas gets through, and but we keep going. Fabregas to Big Thierry to Ricardo Kaká, the unknown gem that I found myself. Finds Gael Clichy with the whipped cross, and Ronaldo treating that ball like he does a Brazilian hooker on a night out and getting a score from it. Feck. If you didn't know, we had to concede less than 7 shots, so all those pot shots weren't great. But you know what is great? Me figuring out how to buy free penalties rather. Thierry Henry steps up, and if you didn't know, I'm a legitimate genius tactically when it comes to penalties, expertly booting it off of the goalkeeper so I can get the rebound for an even easier finish. Many of you aren't going to believe me when I keep banging on about my expertise at set pieces. So I think it's time for me to show you. I think it's time for me to shut up a couple people. Thierry Henry steps up, bang. Martin Sketlenberg treated like a sket on the night out because he ain't getting anywhere near anyone. 3-0 to the Arsenal. I told you, we are going to win the World Cup. It's simple as that. This game is too easy for me. It is on the second hardest difficulty because I was too scared to use the hardest. And rightfully so, old FIFAs are really hard with... You can move in 4 directions. 4! Can't blame me for not playing on the hardest difficulty. Life's difficult. Okay, I need a win. I'm an Arsenal fan. We don't get many of them. Ajax in the dust. Patty Clive actually rejected a bit at one point, so he can suck his mum. Fulham up next, and you know, there's a lot to be scared about Fulham. Brian McBride, we've got to stop from scoring 1 goal. Oh, let's look up Brian McBride's stats just to see why he's such a feared striker, you know. He must have had like 20 goals a season if they're the one he's highlighting. It's definitely not just because he's North American, I'm sure. I'm sure he's got like 20, 30 plus goals. That... spooky.
Look at me, I'm shaking in my little space boot.
About explains it. Brian McBride, to be fair, he was actually a top Euro player. Like, he was Clint Dempsey before Clint Dempsey is Clint Dempsey. Brian McBride is class. But he ain't exactly a goal scorer. But we come forward 2 minutes in. The fear of Brian McBride in our hearts. We knew we had to get off to an early start. Ricardo Kaká finds Big Ronaldo Nazario. The man might have missed 137,232 chances in the last game, but he's bagged at least 53 goals in this one. You've got to say, what a lad. Brian McBride showing everyone exactly why he strikes fear into the hearts of Fulham fans everywhere. I told you I knew how to get a penalty now, and it is time for... Oh yeah, Zat Knight better back down from the king. That is Zat Knight. No one even knows who you are. I told you I was an expert when it came to penalties. As you can see, yet again expertly rebounding it off of the keeper for the easy tap in. That is 2-0 for the Arsenal. Quackers on the sideline, absolutely buzzing. To be fair, I'm looking a bit porky. Gonna have to have words with EA about that, because that, to be honest, is slander. I am an 8-pack wearing Adonis. I get all of the chicks. Done no out here. Stern John coming forward. It makes me feel really old that I legitimately know every single Fulham player on a first name basis. Here is Jimmy Bullard, one you young millennials might actually have heard of. I don't actually know who Pierce is, so I feel a little bit younger and better about myself. They decided to take a corner short. They didn't realise we have the one, the only Emmanuel Boué who finds Ricardo Kaká. And yet again, you just have to speak about my genius. It feels so good. Boys! Nothing can bring me down from this. I'm buzzing. I'm the... Yeah, that's Brian McBride, ain't it? It's somehow Arteta's fault. Take this! Pricks. Unfortunately, we could not keep the great... Whoa. God, there's children watching, bro. We could not keep the great Brian McBride out. We have failed, but with Reading up next, we're going to get to see just how ridiculous the objectives in this game were. You see it says score 3 goals and get 10 corners, and you think that's difficult. But it's not impossible. 10 corners is a bit stupid. It's a bit of a ridiculous objective. I'm not sure. Hold up, is my fucking chairman match fixing? My chairman's match fixing. This is what this is. This is why he keeps giving me these dumb objectives. He's got a bet on for bloody like 9 corners or more, ain't he? Anyway, we started with 60 minutes and have to score 3 goals and get 10 corners, so we better get to it. Thankfully, my crossing genius yet again pays off. Not quite sure who's hurt Thierry for him to look that mad, but it must have been someone. 90 minutes on the clock though, boys and girls. This is our final chance. If we're going to get those 10 corners, we need to do it now. Boys and girls, that will be it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Unfortunately, we have failed, and I'm probably going to get my legs broken by my chairman, because he's lost a lot of money on his bet. But for now, peace.